What's going on, everyone? Raider here. Hope you're all doing great and having an amazing day. So there's a lot of talk circulating around about the S24 Ultra having a little bit washed out colors compared to last year's model, the S23 Ultra here on the left. So I've done a bunch of playing around and testing, and I think I've come to a pretty concrete conclusion on what's going on here. So we're in the display settings right now. The only setting here that matters at all, period, is screen mode. All right, we have two options, vivid and natural, right? So I played around with all the other settings, including the brand new adaptive color tone. None of this junk matters. It has no difference on this color wash, washed out colors, whatever you want to call it. It has nothing to do with it. It's all about the screen mode. So they're both in vivid right now. Let me show you something else as well. I've got the brightness set to the same on both devices. Now I know what you're thinking, the S24 Ultra gets brighter, you shouldn't do that. Yeah, it does get brighter when you have adaptive brightness turned on and you're outside and it's hitting those sensors. That's when that's going to kick in. When you're here inside, like I'm sitting here at this table, there's not going to be a real difference. I notice both devices are basically the same in the regular brightness setting. So now let's go to the home screen real quick. All right, so what we have is the same wallpaper, same icons, basically the same everything on both devices. They're both in vivid mode, not natural. So what I want you to pay attention to is a little bit of red up here in the wallpaper versus the S24 Ultra, as well as the red in the YouTube logo versus the red that we have in this one, and how much of a difference it contrasts with the white around it. You can also notice that in the phone dialer app here, right? A little bit of green here mixed with the white. Notice that there's just a little bit more oomph with the S23 Ultra. Not by a big margin or anything, and do keep in mind, we're shooting with a real high quality camera here. This is a Sony ZV-E1, full frame. I've got some pretty decent glass on it, so we're getting a pretty good representation. So, I mean, there are a lot of people talking about this, but as you can see on your screen, it's not really that big a deal, but I notice it, everyone else is noticing it, but let's try something out real quick. Let's go in the S23 Ultra display settings. All right, we'll dip into here real quick. We'll go back to it. And I'm going to switch this screen mode to natural, okay? That's the only adjustment I'm going to make, no other adjustments. Now I want you to look at both screens real closely. The same areas, right? Look at this red right here. Look at the YouTube logo. Look at the green on the phone dialer app. What do you notice? I notice they basically look the same. I don't notice hardly any difference whatsoever between the S23 Ultra and the S24 Ultra here on the right. Now let's go ahead and drop the S24 Ultra down into natural mode and see what it looks like. All right, we'll go into our settings, do that real quick. Display, screen mode, natural. All right, look at it closely again, subjectively here. Look at the corners here with the red. Look at the YouTube logos, right? And look at the phone dialer app, that's where you can really see it. And what I see is nothing. I don't notice it doing anything at all. So basically, the vivid natural toggle on the S24 Ultra, it's broken right now, because it definitely makes a difference on the S23 Ultra. You see it right away. But over here, you can flip it back and forth. It's not really doing anything. One other thing to keep in mind too, is that when Samsung does roll out the fix for this, the S24 Ultra will never have that same level of pop, that same level of oomph. And that's because this is a reflective screen versus anti-reflective. I know this for sure. I'm rocking an LG G2. I'll put a picture of it up here on the screen. This is a very reflective screen, and it's known to have its colors pop based on that. I mean, I'm all about my display tech. Right now, we've got the G3, the S95C, the A95L. When I was getting the G2, we had the A95K, and we had the S95B. All three of those TVs have different levels of anti-reflection. And the G2 has like none. It's very reflective. It's very much like the S23 Ultra. And the result of that, besides getting all those reflections, is a nice, impactful, punchier screen than a screen that has an anti-reflective coating. I think that's one of the reasons why Samsung, up until this year with the Book 4 series, has always put a reflective screen on their Galaxy Books, because on an OLED-based panel, you're gonna have more pop with those colors. But based on the fact that the natural color profiles look basically identical on both phones, I am pretty certain that once they fix Vivid on the S24 Ultra, they'll be pretty close to being tit for tat. So I wouldn't put too much weight in it. I will say this though, I've been using this phone now for a solid day and a half, and the more I use it, the more I'm loving it. So how are you liking your S24 Ultra? Drop a comment down below. Appreciate your time. Hopefully this was helpful, and I really don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. I think a software update is going to fix this. And as you can see here, these screens are beautiful regardless, and you get the flat screen. I'm telling you, a flat screen is killer. All right, any questions or comments, drop them down below. Always appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.